Greetings and welcome to Train Signal. You're watching the course scenario and lab setup. Before we get into the scenario itself, let's talk for a moment about the value of scenario-based training. The idea is that you immerse yourself in a scenario that ports directly to real-world environments, and that comes with all of the challenges that come into play, and in doing so this enhances your learning experience. Being able to go beyond head knowledge and see where it applies to a company, that's where that knowledge then blossoms into understanding. And so that's really the goal behind scenario-based training. Now keep in mind, scenario-based training, it's not something that is new and only used by Train Signal. This is something that is used in education for every field that has an intensity attached. So when you think of law students, oftentimes they use mock trials to hone their skills. Military personnel, police, firefighters, these will often perform drills and exercises to prepare for real-world circumstances. Even the folks at Disney World, before they allow you to run the roller coasters, you have to go through simulators and scenarios that help to hone your skills in the event there's a problem. And so we're going to do exactly the same thing here. We're going to provide a fictitious company, and we're going to put ourselves into a story, so to speak, and then carry that story with us as we go from lesson to lesson. Don't dwell too much on the story itself. Just remember that the purpose of the scenario is to help us to immerse ourselves into a real-world environment, so that when you are facing real-world challenges, you'll feel as if you've already encountered these before and have come to conclusions and solutions that we then implemented together. Okay, are you ready to find out what our scenario is? Let's take a look. Our scenario is that we are working for security and surveillance experts. The company name is SpyTech Prime. Their location, headquartered in Trinidad, Port of Spain. They have 25 employees. They're currently using Exchange 2000, and they want to move to Exchange 2013. Why this scenario? Why this company, and why this setup for our Exchange 2013 administration course? Well, to be honest with you, in-house, on-premise deployments of Exchange are becoming more and more rare as we see individuals moving to the cloud. The more you can trust hosted solutions like Office 365, especially for a company that's only 25 employees strong, the less we see companies going forward with in-house deployments. There are only a few reasons why you would deploy an Exchange environment in-house. One of those reasons is the need for total control over your messaging environment. And so, in this scenario, I'm going to be playing myself. And you're going to be playing yourself. So the way this works is you and I are working together to provide SpyTech Prime with what they need, a fully functional real-world deployment of Exchange 2013. Now, you have a solid knowledge of Server 2008 and Server 2008 R2. You understand the concepts of Active Directory, networking, certificate services, and more. We're actually going to focus on using Server 2012, but that's not something that's in your knowledge base at this point. It's brand new, actually, as of the time of this recording. And that's okay. This gives you an opportunity to see how Server 2012 works as well. And we'll work on it together. Now, as my new apprentice or protege, at times I may just focus on teaching you various subjects about Exchange 2013. It's essential that I bring you up to speed on Exchange 2013, the latest messaging server application from Microsoft. Other times, however, we'll actually be working on the servers, and I'll be demonstrating how we would be implementing this in a real-world environment if the company SpyTech Prime really did exist, and if we really were hired to come in and set up their Exchange environment. Now, you might enjoy simply watching the course. However, many prefer, and it's actually recommended, that you follow along with your own lab setup. So let me tell you what I'm personally using to create this course. I have a Dell T110 PowerEdge server. It's a quad-core with 16 gigabytes of RAM. I have Server 2008 R2 with Hyper-V as the parent system. Nothing else is running on that parent system. Nothing that would hinder the creation of my child VMs and hinder performance. Then I have multiple child VMs running a mixture of Server 2008 R2 or Server 2012, and these serve as various domain controllers or member servers throughout the course. Again, being able to follow along through the course with your own lab setup is not necessary, but it is strongly recommended. You'll certainly be able to learn more and retain more if you follow along with your own lab. And let's talk for a moment about our scenario and our network infrastructure. Keep in mind that Spytech Prime only has 25 people working for it. And normally, we would recommend that you put these individuals in a hosted cloud-based solution like Office 365. However, again, being that they require total control over their messaging environment, we are going to do an on-premise deployment. But with only 25 people, how many servers do we really need? Well, in our case, we're going to set up one Exchange server. Now, we are going to discuss the ability that we have to create additional servers. We'll talk about Exchange architecture and design and deployment, but in our case, we're really only going to focus on the single Exchange 2013 server in our environment. We'll also have domain controllers. In our lab setup, we'll actually only set up one domain controller, although best practice is to have at least two so that you have redundancy. And if you're concerned about redundancy for the Exchange environment, not to worry. A little later in the course, we'll discuss how to create a more highly available Exchange environment by utilizing the various tools that are provided to us within Exchange 2013. So hopefully you're just as excited as I am to get to work for Spytech Prime. Okay, so let's get started.